I have the author, Elizabeth Danyi. Okay, so Elizabeth Danyi, we're going to just call you Liz. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Yeah, Liz is best.
Liz is best? All right, good stuff, good stuff. Well, I want to talk about your book. I want to jump right in. Okay, sure. Requiem for Rain.
Yes.
Requiem for Rain. Why that topic?
Requiem is a classical term for a piece for the dead, like a mass. And so I wrote the book because as a way to express when I was raped by the choir director of my church, kind of
let's
help
just jump right in.
Yeah, well, let's just jump. Hey, Shop Talk with Mel, I'm jumping.
Okay.
So, and it, after that experience, you feel dead. So, Requiem for the dead. I mean, the dead can't feel the rain. So, if you weren't dead, you could feel the rain. But when you're not really dead, but you're not really living either, you long for things that make you feel alive, and that's the rain.
Oh, I like it.
Thanks.
Today's show is brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear, offering the latest eyewear trends today that fits in everyone's budget. Trendy, yet very affordable sunglasses for men and women. Visit their website to select the style and color that best fits you at www.fierceframes.com. Again, that website is www.fierceframes.com.
All right. Now, Requiem, for those, it took me a little bit of time to figure out how to pronounce it. You talked about you explained the definition of Requiem, which is
a mass for the dead.
That Mozart.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead. Elaborate on Mozart for those who don't know.
Requiem was a term back in the classical and Baroque ages of music where it was a funeral mass. So most of the time, musicians were writing for a particular church at the time, and requiems were masses for the dead. Mozart actually wrote his own requiem as he was on his deathbed, but didn't get to finish it. So one of his students finished it for him. And I always found the idea of a requiem just absolutely fascinating. I'm a classically trained pianist. I was studying to go to school for piano performance. So music, history, music theory, all of that was always something that I was always fascinated with.
Let's talk about this voice. Let's talk about the voice. Listen, if you guys get a chance after the show, go to YouTube, and it is called. Wait, let me get it. Last Lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so YouTube Last Lullaby, and you'll see for the listening audience, you'll see, and the podcasters out there, yay for the podcasters, you'll see the photo, and it is Liz lying on a piano. So listen to that voice, it's amazing.
Thank you.
And you said you were classically trained
pianist.
How old were you when you started?
Actually, I was in 6th grade. I was like 10, 11. I was a little older than most students. My family didn't have a lot of money, so it took a while for us to be able to afford piano lessons. But then I studied at the Dana School of Music in high school as a pianist student. I was auditioning for the Dana School of Music for college, and I just decided that I loved piano too much to turn it into a chore. Because when you go to school for something, you don't get a break, it turns into work, and I never wanted it to be work. I did not sing. I didn't start singing until much later.
Okay, and now we'll get back to the book, Requiem for Rain. All right, so you didn't start singing too much later. I'll let you introduce it, because I got, I got some stuff that I picked out that I'm like, let's talk about this.
Okay, so I didn't start singing until I was 22, I joined the choir. I did sing, I just wasn't trained. So I was always told that I had a pretty voice, but it was untrained. And I really wanted to be trained in voice. So at 22, I went to the choir director of our church, and I really trusted him. He was a friend, and he was very good in the choir. And I said, listen, I really want to sing this piece for Christmas. It was Amy Grant's Breath of Heaven. I said, listen, I really want to sing this. I may not even be good. You don't have to let me. I said, but I really, really, really want to do this. I really feel like this is something God wants me to do. And I'm willing to step out on a limb and go for it. And he let me basically audition and said, oh my gosh, where have you been? Your voice is beautiful. I said, well, I've been, sitting over there in the soprano section, kind of quiet, And after that, I said, I really want to take voice lessons. Would you give me voice lessons? And initially he said no. So I went and decided I was going to do it anyway. And then he changed his mind and said that he would give me voice lessons.
Do you know why he said no?
I have suspicions, but I don't know why for sure. He said that he didn't have time, but he was giving other people voice lessons. So I don't think that's why.
Okay. That's an important part, especially after reading the book.
Mm-hmm.
I read Liz's book, Elizabeth Danyi, and it's called Requiem for Rain. Y'all already know I get bored real easily bored, Mel, okay? However, I was not bored. I went through there so fast, and your writing was very descriptive. I felt like I was there. Now, in your writing style, which helped a lot, I see where you put now and then. Mm-hmm. Now and then. Why did you choose to write? Why did you choose that writing style? Why did you, want to do the now and then?
Well, chapters just didn't make sense to me because, so what's happening in the story is the character, who is me, is waking up, awakening from this big event of having been raped, but she doesn't remember. And she's kind of trapped in this, what feels like a prison. Her body's tied down and she's just stuck. And as she slowly emerges, the memories start coming back. So, but she doesn't remember. So for me to write a chapter, it didn't make sense. But to say now being trapped and then what happened to lead her to get there, that made sense to me. And as a reader, I love to read. I mean, it's just more interesting that way too.
Interesting enough, you chose it because you said what you were going through and you thought that chapters didn't make sense to you. Usually rape victims, they don't realize that they're raped or even molested, victims. The memories come later. So that's why I had to ask that question. It was like, now then I was like, oh, okay. And
yes.
And then they remember. Go ahead.
Yeah, I also didn't realize that I had been raped until much later as well. So and I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of rape victims is you don't know that the definition of rape isn't always being attacked in a back alley. That's not, I always thought that's how it would happen, and that's absolutely not how it happened. And I was groomed so that by the time it did happen, it felt like this was normal. It didn't feel right, but it felt like it was just the next step. So
tell me about your grooming.
Okay, so when we started voice lessons, we had developed a relationship in the church as friends, as a teacher, as a student. And then when he had me alone in that room for voice lessons, there was a lot of talking, and he was my friend. I would confide in him as if you would confide in any other teacher that you trusted or mentor. I would call him, and then suddenly I can't even pinpoint a moment when things shifted from being appropriate to suddenly bridging that line of inappropriate. But I can tell you things that I look back and I go, that was wildly inappropriate. But the way it happens is so slow that it's like boiling a frog alive. The frog doesn't know that it's in boiling water until it's too late. And that's how the grooming happens. You don't realize it until it's too late. And by the time you realize it's too late, you're trapped. And you feel like you can't escape.
Okay, when you use the word trapped, explain how that felt and kind of give the listening audience a description of feeling trapped, a description of what you went through.
What I went through, I mean, there were multiple times that I felt trapped. One of the times I remember is we met at the church. I was leaving my fiance. My fiance and I were having a lot of difficulties in our relationship. We were young and stupid and immature, and I confided in him, and I left one night and I said, I just need a friend. I just need a friend. Can I come and meet you? And he met me at the church and was all over me in the church. I mean, it was 10 o'clock at night at the church in the hall, and was all over me and wanting to kiss me. And I'm like, I don't want this. This isn't what I want. But I also felt like I couldn't leave without risking that relationship as a mentor and a teacher. I felt like if I said no, then he would take away the choir, he would take away the singing, he would take away, I was singing for weddings. I mean, all of those things. And my parents were the youth pastors at the church. So anything that I did to put a rift in our relationship would have ripples that were catastrophic. And I just didn't see any way to get out without that massive explosion of chaos.
I knew you were going to be descriptive.
Sorry. It's my nature.
Yeah, hey, I like it. I like it a lot. And it helps paint the picture. It helps paint the picture. Because when you're doing radio, you have to watch radio.
Yes.
So I appreciate you coming on as a guest. You said mentor. Mentor, usually in my mind, when I hear the word mentor, that's somebody older.
Absolutely.
Was your teacher, he was over the music ministry at your church?
Yes, he was the choir director of the church.
Okay.
I was 24 and he was 56.
Okay.
He was also married. Yeah.
Clutch my pearls.
Yeah.
I didn't see that part. How did I miss it?
Yeah.
How did I miss that in the book? So
technically he was separated, but nobody knew that he was separated. So in the eyes of the church, he was married. I also found out that the girl sitting next to me in the choir, who also had the same name as me, he was sleeping with her as well as me.
That was gonna, I was coming. I was coming for that when I said,
yeah.
Do you think you were the only one? So he was just running havoc.
I was not the only one. No, I was not. There was also another girl that left the church. She was older. I was the youngest that made allegations that he had been inappropriate or raped her or something. Nobody ever really, I was the only one that came forward. And I didn't come forward until a year and a half after it happened, because it took me that long to realize that what had happened to me was rape. And then I went to the pastor of I disappeared. When I finally broke free of the abuse, I just disappeared because I didn't have any other way to do it. And I met with the pastor afterwards and said, listen, I need to tell you this. I need to tell you what happened. And he sitting in the Barnes and Noble cafe with the little old 80-year-old church council president and reliving everything that had happened inappropriate with their choir director.
Okay, wait. Okay, so when you had you called the pastor and he scheduled a meeting.
Yes.
And he and another person in the church, they came and it was an open. Okay, so the pastor was protecting himself to the listening audience.
Absolutely. Yes, he was. And then we went to a lawyer The three of us.
Oh, the pastor encouraged you to pursue it?
Yep, the pastor and the president of the church. We went to a lawyer and they took down my testimony, and then they were able to fire him based on what I had said. However, I chose not to press charges because based on, for one, it was a year and a half later. Had I gone the very first time he raped me to the police and said, hey, I was raped, and they did a rape kit, they would have found evidence, but it was kind of a date rape. And so then you have the allegations of he said, she said. That's a lot. And I don't think I would win, unfortunately. And I don't need that. I need peace in my life. And I need to not have to go down a road that I won't win. Writing my book, I win. I'm telling my story. I hope he reads it. And I hope that somewhere he eventually understands the damage that he's done. And I pray for him. I pray for him every day because I don't think he understands the gravity of what he did, and he may not care. And that's okay. That's on him. That's between him and God. But I have peace.
Okay, what I hear right now is almost a defending him. Almost
sometimes.
It sounds like you're almost defending him. And I have noticed, speaking to other people, and me too, reading a lot. Yeah, me too. This is like a Me Too movement. Where you said you don't know if maybe he didn't know what he was doing. You know what I mean? Okay, so he did know. You feel like he did know.
Absolutely. But I don't think, I think of, in my mind, I think of like Jesus dying on the cross. So they murdered him, but
Right.
They don't know what they did. They don't know the gravity of what they did. He has no compassion. He has no remorse. He has no true understanding of what his actions did to me. He knows what he did, and he did it on purpose. But I think the best revenge is to truly have an understanding of the actions and the pain you've caused for somebody else. And I don't think he has that. And I don't know if he will. But that's between him and God. And I pray that he does. Because that's the only way that you can be forgiven, I believe.
Okay, I have some of my listeners and viewers at the same time that one feels like, how do you forgive someone who harmed you? Okay, so we're all different. And my question is, did you grow to this place?
Oh, yes.
Was it immediate?
It was not immediate at all. And I'm still growing. I'm in therapy. I'm in intense therapy. It affects me daily. I have panic attacks. I have anxiety. I have PTSD. But I did not just get to this place. How do I forgive him? Because forgiveness isn't about him. It's about me. Forgiveness is saying, I'm not going to let this have a hold over me. And I have a theory, could be wrong, but anytime somebody wrongs me or does something to me, I pray for them. So if somebody cuts me off in the car, my instant reaction is to scream at them and say F you, but that doesn't do anything for me. So instead I've started praying for them that they're safe. And I do that with everybody else. So I do it with him because I think everybody needs prayer and it helps me. It's not about him.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this question in true Shop Talk fashion.
Sure.
All right. When you said that you had a fight with your fiance and then you needed someone to talk to, and was your safe place, I don't want to put words in your mouth, was your safe place the church?
Yes.
Okay. And you called him and you asked him to meet you at the church? Is that it? No. Talk to me.
I called him because he was my only friend at the time. I didn't have any other friends. I was in college. I was pretty isolated. And he was the one person that I could talk to on the phone. I said, I need to talk to somebody. Can we meet somewhere? Perkins, anywhere. And he said, let's meet at church. And I thought, oh, okay, well, the church is
Okay,
his
so
place.
that was his playground.
It was his playground, absolutely.
Okay, now, because I'm sitting there like,
That's a good word.
Okay, so he knew you were on his court, from a basketball lovers. And so he knew the church forward and backwards and knew where to take you.
Yes.
Now, when you say you pray, you instantly pray for people. I get that. But for him, you prayed for him. Is that from church grooming?
No, gosh, no. I ran from church for 12 years. I wanted nothing to do with God in church. Nothing.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. That's recent growth. I ran from the church after that happened. I couldn't even walk into a church for about a good 10 years. I was not angry at God, but the church instantly triggered me and I couldn't go. I tried multiple churches. I tried multiple times. I just couldn't. I couldn't walk in the building, and that's been a long process. Just recently, within the last 2 years, I've been able to go back to a church, and I found a church home. It's actually my daughter that is the reason that I'm back in the church.
Very good. Now, how was that?
Well, she's so in tune. When she was about 2 or 3, she was asking questions about God, and she wanted to go to church. So I got her in a VBS. And she was just absolutely obsessed and wanted to keep going. And I was like, I felt like God was calling me back. And for her sake, because I wanted her to have that foundation in her life, I pushed through. And I went to the church where I had been raped. Both of my daughters were baptized in that church because I never wanted them to run from something that hurt them or that scared them. I never wanted them to be a victim. I wanted them to face it head on. So I got both my girls baptized in that church after he left. We attended the VBS there, and we were going there for a while before I felt God led me to the church that I'm at now.
Okay, VBS, for those who don't know what VBS is, that's Vacation Bible School. So I want to put that out there. Now, you went back to the same church that you were raped in.
Yes.
When the first time that you walked back through those doors, was it the same pastor?
It was not the same pastor, but I had stayed in contact with that church. The church officials knew what had happened to me, and they continued to reach out to me, but it was not the same pastor. And that pastor knew my history as well and said, you are always welcome here. It is safe. He's not here anymore. The girl he was sleeping with is still there. Okay. And that's fun. But yeah, they knew my story.
So there were people there that remembered the whole.
They never knew what happened. Most of the people, the congregation, everybody, I just disappeared. I taught Sunday school. I sang in the choir. I did solos, and I just disappeared one day. And I never told anybody what happened except for the pastor and the people in charge of the church. And they never told anybody to protect me. So when I came back, I reached out to a couple of them and I said, listen, I'm coming back and I need your support. So I need you to know what happened and why I left.
Wow. And they were shocked just as I was, right?
Blown away. They said, we had no idea. I said, I know you had no idea. That's what he wanted.
And it was several young ladies in the choir.
There were 3 of us. One left, the other one, they're still together.
Oh, that's his girlfriend now.
Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I pray for her too, because what he did to me, he does to her.
Okay. And they are still together. Now, I'm gonna be honest, at 22, when somebody's 60, I'm like ill, like in my mind.
Sure, mine too.
And when I read your book, I read Predator in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I saw. It was like, oh, just as you were saying, like a grooming situation. Mm-hmm. And when you speak of those things, and I wanted you to come on for two reasons. I wanted you to share your story to possibly help someone else. And I know that you are. And prevent someone else from going through that. You know what I mean? To let people know there's others out here, we've gone through it. Maybe you're afraid, like you stated, the other choir members, I'm, afraid to actually say what happened. It's the church. Do I condemn the church? You know what I mean? Because it's not supposed to happen in the church. You have a lot of people who resent the church. So I'm glad that you came back. And then you have, they just shun, by, nobody comes and say, hey, what happened? And when you said you left for a while, nobody knew, but nobody asked, hey, where are you?
Nobody asked.
So ask, when you see behaviors change, ask what happened to that individual, especially when they were really involved. Yes. There has to be more. Now, I am nosy. Sure. Inquisitive. I like to say inquisitive. Whereas if I was there or even in the congregation and looking like, well, wait a minute, she had the solo, where did she disappear to? And then my mind get to clicking and be like, something else is going on. And then reach out to say, okay, especially if this person may be hurting. Did they move? Did they relocate? I need to know. The people need to know what happened. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I wish they had.
Because people will deal with things on their own, and then you're reading about them it'll be a song, the Requiem. It'll be, a song. Yes, like, how could I have prevented this? I should have did my part. What can I do? And all it is just to ask questions. Ask why.
Yes, I wish they would have.
Ask why. Do you feel like you have support now once you came out?
Absolutely. I mean, there's been a couple people that have said, oh, well, he's a drunk, but he's not a rapist. But most of the people, I know I can't even get past that one. I'm going to pray for you too, because that's a conversation between you and God, not me. I ain't having it. But most of the people have been very supportive. And, I'm at the point now where I'm happy to talk about it to anybody. I have no shame. I'm sure I have shame, but because if I didn't, I wouldn't need a therapist. But I'm working through it, and I'm happy to talk to anybody that's listening that wants to talk and say, hey, me too, and I don't know what to do, and I don't even know, is this rape? Is this, because for me, I didn't know for so long, and I had to go. There's a website I went on, it's candiesnet.org. It's a group for people who've been raped or rape survivors, sexual assault survivors, and that really helped me to realize that the things that had happened to me were grooming, it was rape, it was coercion, it was molestation, it was, so many different kinds of abuse. And now it's amazing to me how God is using my pain to bring peace to other people, and that reach out to me and say, hey, me too, and thank you you're the first person I've ever told in 20 years. It shouldn't be that way. But when you're raped, they don't just violate your body, they take your voice. And I think that's the biggest thing that rape victims don't realize, is that they take your voice, and you need to speak the words until they don't hurt anymore to say. Because that's just the shame that shouldn't be there, is you not wanting to say it out loud, but you have to. That's the only way to walk through the fire, is you have to talk about it. So find somebody to tell.
Well, there's a saying, exposing ourselves in the name of helping others. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
And sometimes it's like, okay, and to look at it, I haven't gone through that, but things that I have gone through, it's like, okay, well, let me share this story. Let me be the sacrificial lamb so that it doesn't happen to other people.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do that. And that's why I'm writing the book.
Very good. Now, speaking of that, page 24, in the book, you were talking about, let me see, I wrote it because I didn't want to miss anything. You said, that's what it was. You said something about when you were leaving your fiance. Mm-hmm. So it it seems like in the book that was right before you were going to meet at the church when he
They
was,
were, yes.
this is the part where you had a clothes basket of clothes.
Yep, I left.
And you knew in, what did it say? You knew in your heart, let me see. Yeah, you knew in your heart that you weren't ever coming back.
Mhm.
But you told yourself that this was temporary.
Yes, we were taking a separation. It was supposed to be a 2-week separation, but I knew we were done. And I left and I went back to my parents' house. And I called him because he was my friend. And I said, I just left him. I left my fiance and I'm not okay right now. And he asked to meet me at Perkins and then wanted to spend the night with me. And I said,
oh, so he was waiting on you.
oh, he was waiting. I said, no, are you out of your mind? I said, no, I just left my fiance. And then anytime I would say no to him, it would be a disagreement and I would be blamed. But that was still in the beginning where I got away with saying no to him. So, and then, it was not a temporary, it was a long term. But you know what, Mel? Spoiler alert, when I left my abuser, I didn't have any friends because that's what abusers do. They isolate you. And I only knew one number by heart, and that was my ex-fiance. And now we're married.
So you separated, it came around full circle.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Look, you said spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Yes, that definitely is, because I would have been like, what? Like, that's awesome. And he's there supporting you through
He's
this.
a saint. He's wonderful. He knows every detail of what happened. He was with me through every walk through this journey, every point of going to the lawyer. Supports me with my therapy. He's a saint. He's just a wonderful human being. We were young at the time. We just weren't ready. But when we got back together, I said, when I called him that day, I said, listen, I left him and you used to be my best friend. And I know you hate me right now, but I just need a friend right now. And he was a friend, but he was a real friend, not a friend that tried to sleep with me, not a friend that tried to get on top of me, not a friend that raped me. He's what a real friend is, not like that predator.
Okay. Now we're going to rewind back. For the people that are just joining in, I have author Elizabeth Danyi, and she has the book Requiem for Rain out. She was, you said, let me say this. Y'all just rewind it, okay? And by being on a podcast, you get to rewind it. When you say, we know about the whole Bill Cosby thing, you said it was a year and a half later after you met with the pastor and the church president. And it wasn't too late. It's not too late. Look, I'm like, clearly it's not too late. Look at Bill. And what was the Harvey Weinstein? When you said, when you were talking about, and that's what it took me back to what's happening right now, where you wanted to do a solo, you felt like, and let me know if I'm putting words in your mouth because I don't want to do that. You felt like everything would have been taken away from you. And this was like what, the second time that he, so you were in a position of, I don't want everybody against me and I won't be able to get what I want. So I guess I'll be quiet and don't expose him. Is that safe to say? That's
safe to say. And it did happen. When I exposed him and what happened, my parents took his side. They didn't believe me.
Wait. Your parents went to the same church as well?
My parents were the youth directors of the church.
Okay, go on.
So they knew him, and they, at one point, we finally came out and told them that, yes, we are together. We've been together for this period of time in secret and blah, blah, blah. And they were initially angry, but then they were supportive. And then when he put his hands on me for the last time, I left. But they continued to invite him into our home. I said, this is my home and I need to be safe. I said, I don't understand what he did to me yet, but I knew that it was a violation and I don't want him in my house.
Okay, wait. So you and the predator told your parents that you were in a relationship?
About a year after, yes.
No, why? Why did you do that? What was going through your mind?
I never wanted to keep it a secret. I didn't understand why we had to keep a secret that we were together in the first place. If we're not doing anything wrong, as he says we're not doing anything wrong, then why can't we be public about our relationship? I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. I wasn't allowed to tell my friends. I had to lie to everybody of where I was going every evening. We would see each other in the choir at church, but we weren't allowed to talk other than as a mentor. He kept everything a secret. So for me, if it was almost like to prove to myself that what we're doing is not inappropriate. So if we tell my parents, then it's okay, right? So when he finally agreed to tell them, they were all about it. And I guess in my heart, I almost wished that they would have been like, absolutely not, this cannot happen, but that's not how it went at all.
Okay. Nick, you got any questions for Liz? Unmute.
Hi. My question is, when did you really like grasp and realize that you were most definitely in a relationship where you were being raped?
Very shortly after I left him, the very first time we slept together, I had told him, I'm not ready to have sex. I don't want to do this. I don't want to take that step. And suddenly he did it anyway. And when it was over, I said, I told you I didn't want to do that. And he said, well, you know you wanted it. And I pushed that memory down until after I had left him because I couldn't face that was rape, because if I had at that moment believed that and hold on to my truth that I didn't want it, I would have lost everything in that moment, and I wasn't ready for that. So I forced myself to believe that I had wanted it, and then I clung to him, because clinging to him must mean that it wasn't rape, right? And then when I finally left him and I replayed that memory in my mind, I finally admitted to myself, that was rape. That was rape the very first time. And every other time after was rape as well. But that first time, I clung to that moment because I knew in my heart and I knew in truth that that was rape.
Okay. There's people out there that believe that if you are raped and you come back and you have sex again and again and again, that that's not rape, because they feel as though that you keep coming back and you don't want it. Please elaborate on that, Liz.
So I've talked to a lot of people who've been raped and have been in an abusive relationship, and a lot of women who are raped and stay with the abuser will actually initiate sex to prove to themselves that they did want it, that it wasn't rape. Because if you initiate it, then it's not rape, right? In their minds. It's very common for children who are being sexually abused to initiate, as well as older people who are in relationships to do that. Also, coercion is rape. If you are being told that if you don't have sex with me, then something's going to happen, or you're worried about a fight happening, that's rape too. Unless you both in your heart say yes, it's rape. I'm sorry.
What about this one? If you love me, you will do it.
No, that's rape. That's coercion. And that's rape too. I love that Pandy's Net website. There's just so much on there and so many stories, and so many people who are just so supportive, and it's such a safe space that's one of the places that I refer everybody to. If you're not ready to talk, that's a safe place to go to, a safe website, and you have to sign on, and like it takes a while before you can comment. And they really watch everything. So if you're not ready to talk, that's a safe place to go. That's where I started to have a voice.
What website is it?
I believe it's pandiesnet.org, but I can send you the link.
Okay, we'll post it. Spell it for me when you say, what are you saying, Pandies?
Pandy. Pandy's Project. It's Pandy's Project.
Okay. I'm like, wait, what did she say? Like, yeah, I ain't gonna tell you what I was thinking. I was like, she's saying panties?
No, my gosh, no.
Right.
Pandies, like Pandora's box. Pandies.
Okay, got you. Look at Nick. Nick already know. I'm sitting there like, huh? Roogle, do you have a question for the guest?
No, I just wanted to comment on her resilience to get over, to fight through this issue and to share, you know, whenever we have shows like this where people talk about these issues that some people just keep buried for years underneath, you always got to give those people supporting, just your support, because I mean, I wouldn't know what to ask, but it's just to see your resilience and your power, you regaining your power through this is just amazing. I think is an inspiration to anyone who's experienced anything like as what you described earlier.
Well, thank you.
Have to give you a round of applause. Have to give you a round of applause. We said earlier, and I'm a firm believer of that saying, when we expose ourselves to help others, and it's in the name of helping others, to be honest. So if you have a story that you want to share, and this is to the listening audience, and you may feel ashamed, and just like Liz was saying, Elizabeth Danyi, her book, Requiem for Rain, as she shared, get out there, write it down, speak about it, because when you speak about certain things, you heal yourselves as well.
Absolutely.
I thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, definitely, Liz. So you're more than welcome to stay and chill with us, but if you have something to do,
I gotta go chase my kids, but thank you so much
go
for
be
having
great.
me.
Go be great, girl.
Thank you.
If you need counseling, there's nothing wrong with counseling. In our culture, sometimes we feel as though that counseling means that we are crazy. You need to release. That is untrue. Okay, that is untrue. Again, that is Elizabeth Danyi, author of Requiem for Rain. I'll play a piece for you guys later on in the show. You could go to YouTube, Last Lullaby. You'll see her. She's laying on the piano. Amazing voice. Amazing voice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well.
This segment is brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear. You can find them on Facebook at Fierce Frames Eyewear, or you can find them on their Instagram at Fierce Frames 00. Also, email them at fierceframes@gmail.com. They have trendy yet very affordable sunglasses for men and women. Their website is www.fierceframes.com.
That's what I forgot.
That's all right, because we get going. Wait a minute, here we go. I got you covered. So she said they did have sunglasses.
Yes.
How you like that?
Get it, girls. Get it.
Fierceframes.com. All right, I guess, oh, it's so dark, but I got the tag on. See, they're new. You don't have a little clip like you had a preview kit.
They're doing the thing. And I'm so proud of them. They are doing the thing. Every last one of them.
Well, this is Fierce Frames. That is not every last one of them. That is one owner, and her name is Yama Jones. So shout out to you, Yama. And these is sharp. Check them out. Yes. And Nick didn't get hers, but I'll put them on later in the next, when we talk about the next point. Let's get ready with the hot topics. All right. We're gonna talk about Chad first. No, you know, we're gonna do Will. We'll do Will Smith and what's her name? Janet, Aunt Viv.
Jenny Hubert.
Yeah, Janet Hubert. We'll talk about that. And since we just got off of healing, you know, I want you guys to be healed. So let's talk about this. They did Will Smith. He took over the red table, and he had Janet on there. Now I watched it, and Will wanted to resolve the issue that they had. Do you remember that whole thing with Aunt Viv and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Roogle? You remember it, Nick?
I thought she left because of a contract dispute.
It was a contract dispute. See, that's what I'm talking about. I know you know. And Nick, you remember as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. A contract dispute, and she ended up saying that they wanted to give her 10 shows. Will didn't know it. That's how Will was 21 years old, okay? And when I was watching the red table, so you know what? Check out that red table. You guys got to see it. Check out that red table, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. He wanted closure. He's a great listener. He's a great listener. And I say that one more time. He's a great listener. And I say that because when he asked her how she felt. And she told him, I don't know what her rebuttal was, but she in turn reversed it to him and wanted to know about him. He gave it right back to her. He didn't say, well, I was 21 years old at the time. I was this. And what it boiled down to is that she's a professional. So on the set, he was making jokes, and she said he was live. He was, you know, he was 21 and he was doing it, and he was the man, and he didn't want to fail. So let's be realistic here. When you are trying to get where you're trying to get, he said he had, remember his next album with Jazzy Jeff flopped. And, let me go ahead. Let me model at the same time. Sorry. These are Nick's. Okay. Yeah. These are Nick's Fierce Frames. Okay. What she was saying was how he wanted to just crack jokes all the time. And she was professional. She would sit in her car when they were like getting ready. So it wasn't a family unit as he wanted. He didn't do the negotiation, so he had no idea what her contract said. She turned the contract down, and then she said that her husband wasn't working at the time. She was a new mother and all this other stuff. But she said some things that was not okay. This is just my opinion. She said some things that were not okay. And just like you said, Roogle, it was a contract that she turned down for the 10 shows. So her blaming him for her demise, I don't think it's okay. She said, he's 21. She was like, oh yeah, he was just what did she say? The things that he said actually hurt her career. Now, no one would have known if she didn't, come out. To me, it's just like, okay, she left, and she did leave. It was a choice. And she said, they offered me 10 shows. Okay, they offered you 10 shows, but you said no, and you walked away. She was trained, she was on Broadway and then came in there. So, and she was the older one. I think she was like 34 when she first started. But my question is, why are you blaming your downfall on Will? Why are you giving him that much credit? Because if you were already established, one show, you couldn't get any other jobs because of one show? What's your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I would say was this, like, okay, Will Smith was not in an executive producer role at that time or any time, right? Mm-hmm. Because that I don't know. The thing I would say is, like, it's almost like I want to tie with sports so people can make a connection to something that they know now. Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He got a franchise tag, never got a contract, and was in a situation where he has a potential career in the injury.
Okay.
So the thing becomes like they offered him a contract. He felt like it didn't fit what he deserved, and he turned it down. And now he's in a situation where it's like, if he doesn't come back, isn't healthy, then he doesn't have any contract. He doesn't have anything, right? The reason I made that comparison is because she was offered a contract and she felt like it didn't fit her needs or whatever, and she turned it down. Now, I don't know what Will Smith said. That's the thing. I don't know what he said. But I will say this though: if he wasn't an executive producer of the show, there was little that he could have. There was little influence that he could have on her contract. Now the thing is, could he have informal influence on that? Possibly. Could he have formal influence on it? No, not if he wasn't in that role. But we've all seen situations where there's been players in sports that have gotten their coaches removed because they feel a certain kind of way. Really not knowing a lot about what happened. All I know is that there was a contract offer. She refused it. They moved on. As far as her future endeavors, sometimes there could be blackballing. I won't dismiss that and say that, the mechanism of Hollywood would say that, well, she doesn't work well with management or whatever, so they do these particular things. That stuff happens all the time with people in any industry. Hollywood is no exception.
He said that she was difficult to work with. Now,
she was?
Yeah, that's what he said, that she was difficult to work with. Now, Monique actually said that now. So this was like almost 30 years ago.
What is Monique doing with her?
Huh?
What is Monique doing with her now?
Monique is not doing anything with her. Remember, Monique was blackballed off of, what was that show with Lee Daniels? What did she do, Nick? That movie. And she
did Precious with Lee
Daniels. Yeah, but she wouldn't do like the red carpet type stuff.
Well, I mean,
or promote it. She wasn't promoted. Remember her and him and Oprah? They said that she wouldn't promote it.
Oh, Tyler, with Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So they were.
Steve Harvey, she had an issue with all of them.
But Lee Daniels whispered in her ear and told her. He kind of gave her a heads up, but she threw him straight up under the bus. That's why I don't be fooling with a whole bunch of people. Like if I'm gonna give you this little nugget and not everything, that's not, I'm like, I felt like he pretty much was saying, I'm trying to help you out, sis, and then you just throw me under the bus with them, and then she felt blackballed. I think that's how Aunt Viv felt.
Well, I think the thing is sometimes, she may not have, like anybody in any industry, people who have the controlling interest say, we believe you're worth this much. Okay. Right? They believe like this is the top line we're willing to pay for this particular endeavor altogether. And you are this piece in that particular endeavor. And, unfortunately, like, who knows? She could have took those 10 deals and then made it more after that. Like there's things I don't know. I don't know the ratings. I don't know like the people who were buying, the organizations that were buying commercials. Like there's a whole lot of stuff that we don't know, right? So
we don't know, but we have their go ahead, Nick, and I'll finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like if she would have just gone ahead and taken that deal, like you said, and brought it every single show, she could have walked into more roles. But she knew, and with her being a professional, I'm surprised she didn't do that. Make sure you bring it every show, just above and beyond everybody else, to make sure you secure your spot. But at the same time, she was going through something at home in her marriage with her husband and everything. And a lot of times things like that play a part in what you're going and things
but
like that.
But if you're a professional, it should not.
But go ahead. Okay. But let's look at it like this. Even if she was experiencing things in a home, she has a manager. She has other people that's giving her advice or counsel, right?
Right.
So, we don't know. I don't believe she was her own manager. I believe, I would assume that she had another manager, right? but I mean that she had a manager that wasn't herself, right? So I mean, like someone's coming to her telling her this particular thing, but it's just like any negotiation. I want to just put this out there on a personal note. Like my wife bought some furniture or whatever, right? Did it without me, whatever. She has the freedom to be able to buy whatever she wants to buy, right? So the issue becomes now it's been these delays. They haven't delivered on when the stuff is going to come. It's been a whole bunch of stuff, right? So we go in there yesterday, and I go and I talk to the people. And I'm like, hey, from what my interactions with the Federal Trade Commission says that you shouldn't be charging her this because you haven't delivered it and you haven't done these particular things, right? So the thing was that like I came in there in a situation to negotiate on her side about what was right and what was wrong. And so even though she made the deal or she was the talent or she was the connection to it, I intervened to be like, you know, is this really right? But with that being said, though, whenever you take a hard stand, you got to be willing to walk away. And she was willing to walk away. She walked away, and what came of her career came of her career. But you got to be able to say,
you can't blame somebody else.
I didn't catch that.
I said you can't blame somebody else because you chose.
You can't. But the thing is, if you're gonna draw that hard line in the sand, you got to make that decision on if you're gonna walk away or not. You know, so if someone says, well, hey, if you ain't gonna give me $500,000 to do Shop Talk with Mel, then I ain't doing it, right? then that's, I mean, that becomes that hard line. You know, it's like you destroyed all negotiation at that point because you said what it was gonna be. You know, and that's the thing. Like you have to. Like in my wife's situation, we had to say, well, are we willing to walk away from this purchase? Right? I am, because I wasn't emotionally tied to it. I didn't give a shit. You know, about it. But the thing was, she had some investment in it, you know? So the thing is that when you think about that, what's your next move after that? Right? What's your next move after that? Am I like, for example, like they say with this, you don't leave a job until you get another job, or you don't. But some people they say they swing like monkeys in a tree in relationships. They don't leave another relationship till they get a hold of another one. You know what I mean? And then, like the thing was like, what was her escape plan from that if it didn't pan out in her favor?
We'll be right back after this break. I guess we won't.
Today's show has been brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear, offering trendy yet affordable sunglasses for men and women. Check out their website at www.fierceframes.com. Again, that is www.fierceframes.com. Don't wait until summer. You can order now.
Like the modeling skills, huh? So check those out. I really, really like these. What do you think of these, Nick?
Oh, I love those.
You like these? These are cute. The circle. What do you think, Roogle? Let's see what the men think. What do you think of these?
Let me get to.
Check me out. What do you think of these sunglasses from?
Oh, you can hear me. I thought I was on mute. Yeah, I mean they all like you like, hey, Mr. Director, Mr. Producer, please give me my big and famous contract.
Oh, wait. Wait, here you go. I got to get my mug first. Go ahead now. Now, what did I say?
Mr. Producer, please give me my big and famous contract. My rich and famous contract.
Thank you. Fierce
I need my sunglasses so I can say that.
FierceFrames.com. You guys visit that website. All right, so we're talking about Aunt Viv and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When I say he's a good listener, he allowed her to share her pain and just took it. 27 years is a long time. Me personally, just watching it and her being trained and being in the arts, you guys join in because y'all know how it is in the arts. She probably felt, and this is almost 30 years ago, she probably felt like, who's this rapper just coming on the scene and he's the star of the show. Now, Fresh Prince, what Will allegedly said back then, 21 years old, he was like, she think it's the Aunt Viv show. It's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So when you look at somebody who's trained and you're in production, you're in the plays, you know, this is what you do, performing arts, you're in the performing arts, and then some rapper come and take over. And it's like,
but there
okay.
again,
Go ahead.
No, but think about it. We go on 30 years ago.
The Fresh Prince. He was the Fresh Prince. That was his rap name. So it was his show, and she really should have understood, professional or not, it was his show.
Go ahead.
They could have got anybody to be Aunt Viv.
Right. You see, they did.
The Fresh Prince.
And they did. Go ahead.
Well, I think the thing is that, like, I mean, you got. It's almost like I'm gonna take a word from The Rock, right? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Know your role. You know what I mean? And you know, and I ain't trying to hate. Maybe she felt like she was more than that. Maybe from her, you know, because the thing was, her character was the linchpin for him even being in Bel-Air, because it was her sister. Right. You know, it was her sister's son or whatever, right? And I think the thing was she done a good job during the time or whatever. But from what I can tell from IMDb, what they say is that she was offered a contract for the 4th season in its entirety, and she said that there was problems with the producer and Will Smith, you know, and whatever, but then she was replaced from seasons 4 through 6. You know, I just kind of feel like, you know, I don't know what those problems were, but it sounds like there were problems with the money, you know, and sometimes this is what happens. What we know from Hollywood is that, like, is there not enough money to pay people because the main person is making so much money versus the other people in the cast. So for example, when the show Friends was up for negotiations, or you know, the cast said this. They said, "Hey, we gonna all stick together, and we all want $1 million per episode." And they got it because they all stuck together and said, if you don't get me, you don't get none of us. And they got the money. So remember the show Girlfriends?
That's where, yeah. But even what about Living Single? I think Friends came from Living Singles. I think.
Well, how the show's derived is one thing, but the thing I'm talking about really now is the mechanism of getting paid. And so Friends, the 4 characters in Friends, the 4 actresses in Friends try to do what the 6 people did in the 4 actresses in Girlfriends try to do what the 6 actors in Friends did, but they did not succeed because they sold one of them out, right?
Why did they
because everybody else agreed and one person didn't.
Because that's what
they said, all right, we can do this without you, right?
And let's be real, that's what our people do.
Hey, that's what happened. But them other 6, they stuck together, was like, nah, we gonna get all this money together, right? And so you figure like this: 6 stars, 24 episodes, $6 million an episode, right? You know, I don't even know the math, but the point is that it was like $130 million, right? For them to do one season, just paying those folks. You know, so the thing is, maybe Will wasn't wanting to do a Dan Marino. I'm making a football reference because Dan Marino was like, hey, I'll take a pay cut. You got, matter of fact, I'll move it to present day. You got Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots. He's like, okay, I ain't got to really get paid this much as long as we win. Can you make us win?
But see, here's the thing, though. And that's a good analogy that you tried to use. But here's the thing: it was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was his show. So, and at 21, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. If it's like, okay, you getting ready to do this show, and I'm 21 years old. I'm trying to make it. My record already flopped. I done dropped out of college. My father is upset that I decided I wanted to be a rapper. I don't know you. I just met you when they cast the role. So there's no commitment. I ain't doing it. I ain't mad at him.
But this is the issue, though. This is the issue. You
And she
said
walked away.
you
She
hold
walked
on though.
away.
Hold on. Time out. I want to throw a red flag in here to get a
They
review.
said 10 episodes. She didn't like the contract, but I'm gonna let you finish yours, Roogle. She walked away. She didn't like the contract. She knew she had a little baby at home. She knew her husband was unemployed. But what she did on the Red Table Talk was made it all about Will, not knowing what he went through or what was going on in his personal life. Just like what Nick said. Nick was like, you know, she's a professional, but guess what? You can't listen. That's probably why they like me as a manager. Because when you come to work, I expect you to work. When I go to McDonald's just because you had a bad day, and I want to know what happened to the orange drink, and you had a bad
I ain't in charge of orange drink. That ain't my job.
Listen though.
I ain't in charge of orange drink. I'm at this register.
All you gotta do is say they discontinued it. Not like
Which is some bullshit.
right.
That's the best. That's the best thing they had going. Orange drink or fish fillet.
They discontinued the orange drink.
They don't have it no more.
Yeah, they discontinued the orange drink. But my point is, I'm a customer. What happened to the orange drink? Why you got an attitude?
They made that decision without you. They don't care about you.
Orange drink. I said, okay. And then she, you know, went on to get my stuff. And I was like, what else do you have? Because I ordered an orange drink. What else do you have that's non-carbonated?
You gonna get that high seafood punch.
Listen,
You ain't gonna get that orange drink.
freaking Hawaii.
Hey, something must have been.
Like, you know, that ain't never, no matter how much ice you put into it, it ain't gonna never get cold. But
the point is though, like, I don't even know if I should talk about the orange drink or the Fresh Prince issue.
Listen, leave your problems at home, because what the girl ended up saying about this whole, I just wanted the orange drink. She just had a bad attitude. And I said, I hope you have a great day. And then she said, I'm going through stuff at home. Don't give it to me. I just want to know what happened to the orange drink. So if she's a professional, just like Nick said, and she was, you know, in acting, be a professional. What you got going on at home, what I have going on at home, when I clock in, it has nothing to do with my coworkers. All I can do is be me. You have to be professional. Drop it off at the front door and clock in or call off. That's my thought. And with her situation, she was putting it on him and he accepted it. He let her vent. And then they asked.
But the thing is, he can't accept it. I mean, he in a situation where he gonna get blowback over her not taking a contract in the 1990s. Think about it. Like, okay, if you want to blame me about a contract you didn't take in the 1990s and it's 2020, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead. You know, what impact is that going to have on him?
Because it would have constantly been this. He let her vent and just, he took it.
But constantly, no. It's never, the only time you have this is when it's an unstoppable force against an immovable object.
Okay, scientific.
So you're not gonna have this. You'll have this. You know, you'll have this in this situation. I mean, because think about. He
got a point there. Because look at his career compared to her.
Yeah.
Okay,
look. And the thing was, if he felt so bad and wanted to give a redemption, how many projects has he been in where he could have been like, "Oh, I made this error back then, and it was my fault your career turned out this way. Let me put you in some stuff. Let me put you in any of the things I've been in. Even if it's like you're the secretary or you're the person off screen saying, hey, look, it's Hancock." Right?
Okay, right. True. Okay, let's look at us. Shop Talk with Mel. Yeah. My name is in it.
Yes.
If I'm not
here, you get paid the most.
You get paid the most.
I want the most money.
You get paid the most. Yeah, okay. But you meet with production and they're like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Or Nick meet with production and they're like, okay, so y'all making a deal of what y'all gonna do. What they got to do with me? But I'll take it. I'll take the hit. He was the bigger person. And even now being the bigger person. But if you guys want to see an old interview where she actually says that he's the reason, but let's be real. He's the reason why she couldn't get work. You cannot, yes, Patty, you cannot spit venom on me. See, I'm a work in progress. I'm not like our previous guest author, Elizabeth Danyi, and she prays for the people. You can't spit venom on me and think I'm gonna just sit there and be like, okay, I'm gonna pray for him. Pray for me, Liz.
You're supposed to be praying.
Can somebody spit, look at Nick. Can somebody spit venom on you and you be quiet?
You already know that the answer to that, so that's why I'm saying it like this.
So for him, yeah, I have some of the listening audience saying that he said stuff about her. Well, if you're gonna say stuff about me, well, since you being public, why should I be private?
They was both being petty. Let's put it like that.
And he was 21. And he was 21.
Okay, well, let's put it like this.
During this reunion show.
And I'm
right.
buried the hatchet. But he did say that he couldn't do the reunion show without her, because let me tell you something, she played that role. I liked her.
Yes, she did.
I liked her better.
Especially the part when the one where she went to go try out for that day and them two young girls was laughing at her, so she played the hell out of that part, because as soon as she finished dancing and put them under the table, walked out that room, she passed out.
She played that role, and she's a great dancer too. And I really feel like it was more. It was probably like, okay, I'm trained. This is what I do, and I'm into performing arts. And then here these rappers are coming, because that was like the onset of the rappers coming to main roles, where actors and actresses weren't able to get roles. I.e., LL Cool J, i.e., Ice Cube,
Ice-T.
Oh, Ice. Listen,
and Ice-T.
I'll be honest about Ice-T. He's a better actor than rapper.
Yeah, but Ice-T is
Hold
also
on, man. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Don't be hating on Ice-T.
No. Ice-T.
Ice-T was cool for what for the time period that he was as a rapper, because of the things he spoke about. You know, he had that whole album Power was off the hook. You know, don't be hating on Ice-T. He just made that transition. When he made that transition, it was like the game flipped and changed a little bit. And he moved on to where he found some talents at, and that's why he on what is it, Law and Order, SVI, what is it?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I'm gonna give you props for that, because he was on Unsung the other night, on TV One, and they said he is he's on one of the rappers that's been on a TV series, I guess, for as long as he has been. Like, he's been on there for like what, over 20 years? About 20 years?
I don't know.
I don't know, because I don't follow Ice-T.
But come on now. You can't really hate on Ice-T, man. Come on. Don't be hating on Ice-T. Ice-T had that album, The Power, and no colors.
I agree with that.
Come on. That's when everything went crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying he was cool for his time period, and then he moved on. It would be the same thing.
It was a time period, because it was like period.
But no, it wasn't like zip. It was like zzz. It was like zzz. It was a.
He ain't get a dot. He got a period.
Come on
just
now.
one single dot.
Come on, y'all tripping now.
Period.
Y'all
That's it.
Now the thing would be
of the rappers. I'm gonna say this in defense of the rappers. They are actors, because most of them are Rick Ross. Most of them are performing. They're performing. The CO, Rick Ross. I go hard, dude, you a cop? Like what? But he's a corrections officer. So they are actors and actresses, most of them. If you don't know, like Tupac, everybody loved Tupac. Tupac went to the School of Performing Arts.
Yes, he did. He started out wanting to
then
act.
Like, okay, I'll be a rapper. I'm not mad. Mel, I used to rap.
But the thing about, I don't think Tupac ever denied where he came from.
Oh no. But what I'm saying
let's not make it seem like. Let's not make it seem like. Hold on. Let's not make it seem like he was a Silver Spoon kid. Like, he ain't no Drake. He ain't no Drake. Come on, Tupac is not a Drake. So don't try to play him like he a Drake.
Now see, Tupac is not a Drake. Drake is a rapper, music, but he's an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me tell you, do you know, I just thought that they looked like, what was his name? Cripple. What was his name on
Cripple? I don't know, but he got shot.
I can't remember his name on that show, but Degrassi High.
Degrassi was the name of the show. Degrassi.
Listen, I couldn't figure when Drake finally came out. I couldn't figure out. I said, boy, he sure looked like that kid on the one in the wheelchair. I was like, Didn't know it was the same person. But and he went over to the rap side. Some rappers might feel a certain way. Jada was one, allegedly. I can't remember, it was a while ago. She was one that had an issue with the singers and rappers coming over to, to the movie side, because it prevented, I believe it was her. It prevented them, the actors and actresses, from getting roles because they had these big names attached to it. But having those big names attached to it let the filmmakers make money, because that was what was hot at the time.
Another actor that had a problem with it and really couldn't get any work afterwards is, I can't think of his name right now, but the one that played in the 5 Heartbeats.
Leon?
Eddie Kane Jr. Mm-hmm. He was on a show and he talked about that. How
Fox Soul, I believe. Was it Fox Soul?
Yeah, how a lot of actors lost roles because of these rappers turned actors. They're the ones getting all the roles. I mean, that's helping both sides of the spectrum. That's helping the producer and the movie maker make their money, but then that's also helping the rapper get more money because they're getting to both sides of the spectrum. But then I could see where the actors come from. They've been at this longer. They worked hard to get to where they are, and then all of a sudden they're losing a role to a rapper that just.
But hold on, though.
We'll be right back after this break.
Show is brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear, offering the latest eyewear trends today that fits in everyone's budget. Trendy yet very affordable.
Wow, what you reverse left eye?
Select the style and color that best fits you at www.fierceframes.com.
I have to play it again because they paid for the time. We can uninterrupted one more time. Gotta play it.
Today's show is brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear, offering the latest eyewear trends today that fits in everyone's budget. Trendy yet very affordable sunglasses for men and women. Visit their website to select the style and color that best fits you at www.fierceframes.com. Again, that website is www.fierceframes.com.
All right. Okay.
So let's say this off top. Aunt Viv didn't lose her role to a rapper. She lost her role to another actress.
True. Okay.
So the only reason there was a show was because of a rapper, and because of Quincy Jones was like, I see his story. I see something we can do. Get Fresh Prince on the phone. Oh, okay, we can do this, and it happened. And I can understand that with one gentleman, Eddie Kane's. I know his name ain't Eddie Kane, but that's everybody know Eddie Kane.
Leon, right?
No, it ain't Leon.
Not Leon. It was
Leon.
His last name is Williams. I can't remember the name but yeah, Eddie Leon.
Kane. Yeah, but I just kind of feel like the reason those things happen is because Hollywood thought that all African Americans was monolithic. Like, if you got one person that's in this, then they can be the person that drives the box office numbers to do something else, right? Not that they're the most talented, but it's about butts and seats. Can we get these butts and seats if we put Ice Cube in the movie versus another actor of such pedigree? Okay, like I would say, for example, Ice Cube versus Mike Epps. Who are people on field seats to go see, Mike Epps or Ice Cube? Now, one time it was very much Mike Epps, right? The program he was in, Higher Learning he was in. I'm trying to think of something else. He was in Juice. He was in Juice. He was in all that stuff, right?
Mike Epps?
Huh?
Mike Epps?
No, Omar Epps. Sorry. Omar Epps. Okay. Sorry, I said Mike Epps.
I'm sorry, Omar Epps. I was seeing Omar.
Omar Epps.
When you said it.
Okay.
Mike Epps.
Omar, yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry, because I'll tell you like this. Because I personally think Mike Epps is better in movies than he is in the stand-up. That's my personal opinion. I think that of him, and I think that of
I saw him.
Wait, Nick. Of who else?
What's homegirl's name?
You better not say some more.
Tiffany
Tiffany?
Haddish.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think she way better in shows than she
In
is in her
movies.
stand-up. You know.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal thoughts. You know, I would never go pay a dime to go see either of them live, but I would go watch their movies.
I saw Mike
Mike Epps live? Did you go
Huh?
see him live? Have you ever seen him live?
No.
Mike Epps?
I've seen this stuff. I've seen this stuff on like when he was on Def Comedy Jam and stuff like that. And nothing he did was like, oh, I want to go pay to see him by himself. I never got that feeling.
See him live. He is very funny.
Oh, okay.
Very.
I ain't doing that.
No, seriously, he's very funny.
Okay, we got to
I ain't
move
doing
on.
that.
Speaking of that, he said he's not doing because we know that he is Frugal Roogle. Let's talk about Chad. What is it? Ocho Cinco?
Ocho Cinco.
Ocho.
Yeah.
He's frugal. Now,
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna say this. A lot of people don't know. I think he's cheap. He's cheap. I think he's cheap. He said, listen,
Just ask his ex-wife.
Listen up.
Oh, it ain't me.
He would just do yeah, I'm talking about you too. But this has been I don't know, you tell me. He would get fake jewelry. He went to Claire's to get the big studs, Claire's boutique. To get the studs. Listen, you get the studs for his ears, all that jewelry and stuff. Claire's fake jewelry. He said he wasn't spending all that money. He said it's ridiculous. He said, he already has the money. And then what happens is people that think that he has the money and he'll spend, then they try to come toward him. He said, but I seen that. That chick thinking, see my iced out earrings? He said, I got them from Claire's.
But the thing was, though, he might have, I don't know about his jewelry. That's his business, I guess. I don't know.
He said it.
But the thing was that he was buying like, remember he bought the semi truck? It was like, I forgot what company it was. They were trying to make like a SUV sort of thing or whatever. And he bought one. It was like $124,000 or something like that back in the day.
But that's smart because you can always make money with a semi.
Well, it wasn't a semi truck per se. It was like some kind of, it was something they were trying to compete with Hummer or something, that in my mind, right?
Okay.
But I forgot, it was like Interstate or whatever it was. I've never seen anyone else have one except for him, right? Like he was like trying to grow a trend, like Arnold Schwarzenegger was trying to hop onto that GM Humvee thing, and it kind of just died or whatever. I mean, that's cool. If he ain't broke, that's fine. I mean, because honestly, none of that stuff mean anything. Most people buy gold and stuff like that, and they look at it as an investment versus looking at it as something I need to carry around. So is it better to have stock in gold or is it better to actually have gold?
Okay, go ahead, Nick. Nick, what you think as far as him going to Claire's? He paid for Claire's. Wait, he paid for him with a black card. I was like, I wasn't mad at him. I said, yeah, that's frugal. You want to do some stuff, but if you think, here's the deal. If he got robbed, what's the boy's name that was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? Nicki Minaj's ex.
Memphis Bleak.
No, that's the girl.
No.
That's Toy. I said Nicki Minaj, the one that had he got the nice body, wore the fur coat. Teacher, he got robbed in the parking deck.
Oh, you mean Safari? She was with not Memphis Bleak. She was with another. Safari.
He got robbed in a parking deck.
He did, but here's the thing. Ocho is not gonna have to worry about getting robbed in no parking
deck. He sure ain't.
Because them earrings that
they're gonna
go try to turn them in, they're gonna be from Claire's.
Here you go.
Inside job.
Well, we know that because we covered it a while back when it first happened. But if somebody decides to rob Ocho, they don't know if they're gonna get the real stuff. They're gonna leave him alone. So he might be kind of smart about it. Moving on to Damon Dash. They say that Damon Dash is now worth $10,000. $10,000. Damon Dash was the one that used to date Aaliyah. So what's your thoughts on that? He got a new girl now. And then he said that the only person that he really loved, he loves her like he loved Aaliyah. Who compares? How you gonna compare me to somebody else? And I hope he ain't tell her that.
But the issue is, did Aaliyah love him like she loved R. Kelly?
Man, Now, speaking of R, you play too much. Speaking of R. Kelly, Damon Dash was older too. He like a R. Kelly. Don't come after me. I use the air quotes, Damon Dash. Like,
what are you gonna use this whole $10,000 to sue you?
Right.
Right. Come on. You better hold on to it. You better invest that in that 401k.
I think he tried to sue Lee Daniels because he did some work for Lee Daniels, and he never.
I remember hearing about this.
You remember that? And he never got paid for it. But it's like when Jay-Z just broke off, he just saying he ain't got no money no more. $10,000. But a lot of people don't understand that when you're accustomed to living a certain lifestyle, you still have to keep that up. But if you're not making no music or doing what you were doing before, your money is running out. Just go ahead and get
He better get to work then.
something. How do you
Instead of riding his son's coattails being a smart
Yeah, where is his sister? Stacey Dash.
That's his sister?
That's his
Oh.
sister.
Really?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So he like the Journey Smollett of this.
You know what?
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it's Juicy Smollett
Yes, he's
and
like the
his
Journey.
Stacey Diaz shit.
They done
I'm
blackballed
just saying.
like
They blackball her. He broke.
Yeah, he could.
Done.
Hey, but Journey Smollett, she trying to live above the influence of Juicy Smollett. I'm telling you,
She doing the
she
thing.
doing it, doing it.
is
She
she
doing it.
is she all right? Well, Damon Dash is at $10,000, and they remember Bill Cosby was worth $400 million at one point. Well, media outlets, I'll say media outlets, news articles, they are saying that by the time he's dead, he'll be bankrupt. Now I'm just confused because
Why?
that's what I say, because if he's locked up, that's 3 hots in a cot. He ain't got to pay for that. That's free. That's
And I don't think there hasn't been any civil cases against him, right?
Well, they have some. Because what was it, 60 women that said that he did that, that he drugged them and raped them, but that didn't go anywhere. So I feel like just that last one, it looked like Howard Stern is the one that has the case. So I'm thinking him and his attorneys, he is too smart. You're not going to pay your attorneys all that money that you have absolutely nothing. And you in there doing time. Because if I'm doing time, guess what? Bye, see ya. Let me just do my time.
Is Camille spending all the money while he gone?
Or has it been has that money been bequeathed to other family members?
She earned it.
She sure did, though.
She earned it.
She stayed through all of that.
Yeah, she earned it. You was sleeping with all them people. She earned it.
Allegedly.
And they knew that he was married. I mean, that was public knowledge. So you chose to be with him. Get out of here. What about that pastor that was dating the girl? What is the pastor's name? It made public news, and they sat him down from the church. What is that pastor's name? Try to find it. It's a pastor. They sat him down from the church. He was married. He had children. He was dating this lady. And for the listening audience, I'm looking at you. Y'all let me know too. Y'all let me know what his name is. I can't think of it right now. But here's the situation. He's dating this girl, and the girl is willing to date him. She only knows his first name. That's probably why I can't think of it. He won't tell her his last name. He won't tell her his job. And he told her, don't Google him. So she's down for this whole adulterous situation. She knew he was married. Then when she found out who he was, then she want to be on, what was it, Good Morning America, talking about, I feel for his wife. So you was
if
down.
you felt for his wife, you wouldn't be messing with him in the first place, fool.
See, here's the thing though. So you agreed to this extramarital affair when you knew he was married, but you didn't know who he was. Then you find out who he is. And then now you want to sit up there. I was watching it yesterday. You want to sit there and say, oh, I feel for his wife, and be all like you a victim or something. First of all, why are you sleeping with somebody you don't know their last name? And then then he says, don't Google me, won't even tell you the occupation, and you're still down. That's a problem for me. And then when you find out who he was the pastor for Justin Bieber. That'll help you, Justin Bieber's pastor, so he's having an extramarital affair, and now she want to feel bad. Why? Because he's a pastor?
It was
Or
a Carl Lentz.
that might be it. Is that Justin Bieber's pastor?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
he got sat down. They removed him from the church.
Good,
Yeah,
as they should have.
but hold on though. This guy, I mean, I don't know. I ain't saying what a pastor should look like, but he don't look like he pastoring nothing but his own ego.
I pastor his own ego. Why?
I mean, he don't look like a pastor to me, but I mean, I don't know what pastors look like.
Explain to me, what does a pastor look like besides a man? Tell me that.
Not like this
He
guy.
looked like that fine pastor that we had on the show a couple weeks ago.
Look, she's just talking about that fine pastor. That pastor's fine. I see.
But I'm saying, like, all I want to say is, like, usually you can, if you Google a pastor, let me Google the pastor and see, like, if he has ever had a congregation, because that's the idea.
But let's get back to the point. You didn't answer the question, but I know you're busy right now, but we're going to come back and revisit
what
that.
a pastor is supposed to look like.
Yes. What is a pastor supposed to look like?
You have some pastors that look like Santa Claus without the red suit. And then you have some that's fine as wine, like that one from Indiana that we had on the show.
So
I hope you ain't listening.
Pastors can't have tattoos. Pastors can't drink.
Listen, my cousin got a bunch of tattoos.
Pastors just.
And he's a pastor.
I think it depends on when you get the tattoos. Are you getting the tattoos after you become a pastor, or is it after, or is it before? So if you getting it like if you're a pastor and you get a tattoo to say Hellraiser after you're a pastor, it might be a problem.
You know what?
That would be a problem.
I do know
that could be a problem.
Roogle ain't going to no church with no good-looking pastor.
No, all I'm saying is that, like, I can't find, like, I think he was with Hillsong, which is credible, but I mean, I don't see, when I'm looking up stuff, I just don't see what's going on. Now, we're not saying that Christians aren't good-looking people. We're not saying that. I'm just saying that it's hard to really find something of his works prior to working with Mr.
He might have been, what did they do? You remember, was he like an associate pastor or something? He might have been sitting down front, sitting on the first pew in the congregation and not sitting next to the pastor. Y'all know I grew up seeing me. You got 1, 2, 3. But here's my thing. She agreed to this knowing that he was married, to date this married man or to sleep with this married man. She agreed to. So she knew going in. She wasn't surprised. None of that. When she found out who he was, now she want to come and speak out publicly. Now and condemn the pastor, or condemn her person who she was with, the married man, and pretty much he's wrong. And she feels sorry for the wife. How can you throw stones when you agreed to it? That's what I'm trying to understand. So
yeah,
as long as he wasn't a pastor, all was good. Now
the whole knew he was married, whether he was a pastor, a farm worker, a garbage man.
Okay.
Any woman, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't care who get mad. Any woman who is willingly, knowingly sleeping with a married man, you a hoe, you a hoe, you a garden tool, you a hoe.
Dang, why she gotta be a hoe though? Nick, tell me why.
Okay, check this out.
Because you willingly sleeping with somebody that you know is married. He a hoe too.
There you go.
This is
what I. But
this
you
is
a bigger
from
hoe
people.
because you knew.
What about
People magazine said this. They said the former Hillsong pastor Carl Lentz sold his New Jersey home shortly before he was fired from the church for moral failures, according to the New York Post. Lentz and his wife Laura reportedly sold their home in North New Jersey town of Montclair on October 23rd for $1.5 million. His firing was made public on November 4th. So you know, I don't know. Something's going on.
Yeah, something going on. Do you think that the house was, listen, if his wife was to leave, the house already sold. So she wouldn't, she ain't got to worry
They
about
show.
no
I
money.
seen a picture of him and his family. That's a good looking family.
It's a good looking family.
Yeah,
They look the part.
he messed it up.
Okay, and see, at least he's putting it on the man. Now, Nick, you calling a woman who was with a married
They
man,
both hoes.
calling her a hoe.
They both
But what,
hoes.
but what about the one that's married? She ain't married to that wife. He's the one with the commitment, not her.
I said they both hoes.
But well, but she said
Yeah,
earlier
she
that the
hoes.
woman didn't
They
know
both
who he
hoes.
was. The woman didn't know who he was, and so she didn't know anything about him. He said,
But
"No,
she knew he was married. That's the key.
no."
You
Did
knew
she know he was married?
She knew he was
Who
married.
he was.
She knew he was married.
I mean,
Regardless, he could be a garbage man. But
so
if
what
he
are we?
was married?
Go ahead, Roogle.
So what are we? What are we trying to? What are we trying to uncover from all of this?
This is what we're trying to uncover. Exactly what you said. Look, talking about he don't look like a pastor, but here what we are trying to uncover.
I'm just saying the dude got
Listen, you
he
asked a
preached it
question.
in a leather jacket. He preached it in a motorcycle jacket.
Oh, pastors can't ride motorcycles? I just sold
Not
my bike
preaching
to
it.
one.
Hey,
I just
you
sold
leave
my
that
bike.
leather on the bike.
I just
That's all he's
sold
saying.
my bike to a pastor. But here's the thing. She wanted him and she was with him, only knowing his first name, not knowing where he worked at, just knowing his first name and knowing that he was married. Once she found out he was a pastor, now she want to come a famous pastor. Now she want to come do interviews talking about she feel bad for the wife. So I'm with
And
you.
that right there is a definition of hoe. If you willing to sleep with somebody that you know is married, you don't know his occupation, you only know his first name and nothing else about him, then yeah, you're a hoe. That's a hoe. A hoe.
She's honest. Yeah, because you would want to know so, or you should know their last
You
name.
would at least want to know the man's last name if you don't know nothing else.
And then he told her don't Google him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So therefore, if you were still willing to go along with that relationship, then you are a hoe. Hoe. Merry Christmas, hoe.
Listen, she said Merry Christmas, ho. Listen, Melvin out of New Jersey said Pips in the pulpit. It ain't nothing new.
Thank you, Melvin. Exactly. Pips in the
Thank you,
pulpit.
Melvin.
A holy hoe.
What? She a holy ho?
A holy hoe.
Nick is wild. Nick is wild. Let's put this again. Here we go. 1 second. Go ahead.
Today's show has been brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear, offering trendy yet affordable sunglasses for men and women. Check out their website at www.fierceframes.com. Again, that is www.fierceframes.com. Don't wait until summer. You can order now.
All right.
Some modeling is somebody's next bucket list career. Boom.
My next bucket list career. Hey.
Let's
Here's
move on into modeling.
Hey, moving on. Look, next. I don't want Aunt Viv or Will Smith to come after me thinking I'm trying to take their gig.
They'll be all right, especially Will Smith. He got enough money. You better not.
Hey, listen, I want you to answer me on what healing is. So we're going to do healing versus recovery. Healing versus recovery. Knowing the difference of healing and recovery. The only reason this came up, who was having? My mother and I, we were having a conversation on when people put, speedy recovery or praying for healing. Which one would you rather? Would you rather someone put healing or recovery?
I'd rather be healed.
You'd rather be healed?
That means in a whole, your spirit along with whatever else is wrong. Total healing versus recovery. You just recovering from that. You're recovering from whatever ailment that was, but you still got other things going on versus being healed. You're being healed from the inside out, to me, spiritually as well as physically.
Okay, so Webster's definition of become sound and healthy again is healing, and recovery is health, mind, and strength. That's Webster's definition, but you are right. I agree with you on the healing, because the way that our body heals is the inside out, and it takes longer. It takes longer to heal from the inside out. What's your thoughts on that? Healing versus recovery?
Full restoration.
Oh, you want a whole new word?
Full restoration.
Restoration. Let's add it in.
Full restoration.
Don't put speedy.
I declare a full restoration upon this person's life.
Okay, so restore them back. Look, put them both together. Restore. Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that much better because that covers healing and recovery.
It does.
Well, that's what I do.
That's what Roogle do.
That's what I do.
That's what you do. You pull it all together. You pull
the Church of Roogle.
Roogle. What's up with the cards? The greeting cards. See, that's why you need to be doing greeting cards.
You know what? I had an idea about greeting cards that I'll share with y'all at another time because it's so good. I don't want to get out.
Not live. We ain't doing that live for somebody else taking.
So good.
We had this conversation with Roogle before about him doing greeting cards.
Well, yes. I mean, because I tried before. I tried to send my talents to Hallmark and America and American greeting cards, and they rejected me. So now I'm gonna go out and pull a Dr. Seuss and do my own thing.
Hey, I heard that.
I'm telling you, this idea is good.
There is power in the black dollar. Why you playing?
Hey, this idea is good. It's good. I'm telling you. Get y'all all tied into this.
You heard Nick said it's power in the black dollar. Everybody's dollar.
Is there power in that black dollar?
Actually, if our community would rally together, then yes, there is power in the black dollar. But
they can't be like me because I'm frugal.
Crab in the barrel mentality.
Now, you know what? Do you know what I do when it's time to get somebody a card? I'll be like, here's this $50, but if you want 45, I'll go buy you a card.
I do that too. I just put love.
It's up to you. It's up to you on what you want. I can give you 50 or I can give you 45 in a card.
Or we gonna deduct how much it costs for the card.
And see me with my greedy, I'm just gonna be like, never mind, you give me the 50 and just say well wishes.
Well wishes, just write it on there. Just write on all. Well wishes.
Just write on the envelope. Well wishes. Here go your $50.
It's a lot of people out there that would have had $30 on their birthday, but they ended up with 20. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, bro, give me the whole 30.
$10, there's money in the car. Now, when she said it's power in the black dollar, we were talking about girlfriends versus friends.
Oh, yes. And see, that's where I said that we have this crabs in the barrel mentality. And if black folks would stick together, we would get a lot further, but we won't do that.
So how long should we stick together?
Forever.
How long do excuse me, but how long do the white people stick together?
But the issue, well, hold on. The issue is,
and they all got what they asked for.
The issue is, how long does that black dollar stay in the black community? Versus, like, because when we talk about white people, when we talk about a dollar in their community, their dollar is has a vast area being able to be spent, where ours has a very small area. You know what I mean? I mean, just like with the Jewish people, they said like their dollar, the Jewish dollar would stay in the Jewish community like almost 5 times, you know, before it would be sent out, you know. And unfortunately, we don't have the infrastructure in our own communities to maintain those dollars. We don't own the corner stores. We don't own the gas stations. We don't own the pharmacies. We don't even own the parks, or we don't even own houses in some instances. You know, so how are we keeping these dollars within our community? That's a larger picture that we got to look at and say, what do we need to do that? So first of all, one thing we need to do is own the property in which we live in. The other thing is own the property in which is being rented out in our communities. The other thing is how do we have stores and gas stations and other things of that sort.
Go ahead. I want you to get your point out, Roogle, before she interrupted. I'm like, I need to hear that. I want.
It's out. But even when we think about the things that we hold dear, even our hair products, right, aren't sold by us. Now, you might go get your hair done by somebody in your community, but you ain't buying a product to put in your hair in your community.
I'm gonna tell you why. We do have products out there, but if it doesn't work for your hair, if it don't work for my hair, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it because you Black. I'm looking for quality. It's been many times that I'll go, it's like support the Black person. Okay, I'm supporting the Black person, but I gotta pay for it twice. Here, I'm gonna purchase this, but I'm not gonna use it because this is not the same ingredients that when I first tried it. Y'all didn't change it and watered it down. And then I'll go over here because I know this one works for me. So what's wrong with
the thing is,
what works for you?
What I'm saying is, regardless of what product works for you, you're not buying it from a Black person.
But what if a Black person is selling a product made by white?
Hold on. What I'm saying is like this. If I own a hair store, I'm not making any of those products. I'm bringing in those products and you come and buy it.
Okay.
When you go buy your products, are you buying those products from a Black person?
Sometimes, depends.
Okay, sometimes. But more than often in this area, there's only really one store that's owned by a Black person.
But listen, not all. I'm just saying my experience. I went to a place and you open at 10 o'clock. So I'm up, okay, well, and then you close at 6. You already know where I'm going. If you open at 10 o'clock and I'm out here at 10 o'clock, why you rolling your eyes mad that I'm sitting there waiting for you to open? Now, you know you have experienced that, and I know both of you have. Or if you open at 10 o'clock and you want to come unlock the doors at 10:10. Either you open at 10 o'clock or you don't. You set these hours. This was good for you. And then you late and then you have an attitude. Or if you say you close at 6 o'clock and then you want to shut the doors at 5:55, talking about you got to count your drawer. Well, then maybe you should close at 5:30.
Right. That gets on my nerves.
So if you want somebody
10 minutes before closing and you close the door lock.
We somebody to support you, and I'm not saying all because I do support my people, the ones that's professional. But if you are not professional, I'm not just giving you my dollar. I'm not gonna buy a hoodie from you for $80 and I can get the same hoodie at the mall for $40 just because I'm supporting my people. You robbing me, my people robbing me.
And see, that's our problem.
And that's an issue for me.
That's one of our problems, right? You want somebody to support you, but then you double charging and then mad when somebody don't buy your product while you double charging. Number one. Number two, you can't have, and see, that's what's wrong with our Black folks. They get an attitude, they pick and choose who they want to serve, they pick and choose who they give a discount to, they get a freaking attitude about every doggone thing. If you want your people to support you, first of all, if you set hours, you be on time. You close on time. And if you got to stay open a little bit late because you're getting that Black dollar, then you stay open late without all the attitude. We don't need your attitude. We don't need your smart mouth because we can go spend our money elsewhere. If you're going to sell a quality product, sell the quality. We don't need all that other crap. It better be quality every single time. And no, don't double charge because then that's when we do go elsewhere. And then you want to get mad. Well, if you're trying to get somebody business, you got to be competitive. If a person, if the said person is selling it at $100, baby, sell it at 80 because you'll sell twice as many as the person as selling at 100. Boom, there you go. That is the Black community's problem as a whole. We late. We got an attitude. We want to double charge the man when doing that. That's part of our problem. That's why we can't stick together. We got to stick together on one accord, the whole entire community, period.
Which brings me to today's Q-tips, trust. Because here's the issue. You'll have some people who you'll go in one day and you buy a product and it may be like $20. Then you go in to go buy it again, the same product, and then it's $25. What happened? So you're going up on the prices. And that's not a black or a white thing. I look for quality and professionalism, the ambiance. I'll try to help you any way that I can, but you can't charge me based on your need that month. And I'm speaking like when I used to do hair, when I, my cosmetology license is inactive right now. But when I was the girl that was the next booth over, she would charge people according to how much she needed. Now, this person just came to you 2 weeks ago, and this how long it is. I'm gonna date myself. You got a shampoo, $15, $10, shampoo and a wrap, $25 tops. That's a long time ago. That's like in 91. Now, the 2 weeks later come, and then this same wrap, this same hairstyle is $40. How did it change? Because most of us, let's be realistic, we're on a budget. This is how much this is. Boom, let me put this to the side. And then you go, they want to change it up. So I'm going to bring things on trust. We're going to do the Q-tips on trust. And I'm just going to give you some quick tips on trust, being the offender versus being betrayed. So if you have offended someone and you're the person that have betrayed someone else, you're the offender, just know these steps have to come into play, okay? You have to reflect on the experience if you broke someone's trust. You have to reconnect with that individual, build it back up, try to rebuild it. You have to make new memories with that individual so that they can begin to trust you again. And last but not least, you have to apologize. And when you apologize, you can't apologize on the defense back to the Will Smith and Janet Hubert, Aunt Viv, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air situation. He sat there and he listened. He apologized and he listened. He didn't listen on the defense. He let her share her experience because indeed that was her experience that she had. He didn't say, I was 21 and made excuses for it. Nobody wants to hear why you hurt them. They just know that you hurt them. And for the person who, take responsibility. That's it. And take responsibility for what you did, the role that you played in that. For the person that was betrayed by someone, be willing to have a conversation. Be willing to have a conversation. And the ones that offended, please don't say why you hurt that individual. Just know, acknowledge it, take responsibility for it, and listen to their experience. Look back on what went wrong. You know what I mean? And that's for the person that was betrayed. Look back, see what went wrong. Don't sit there and say, well, maybe I should have did this. Don't blame yourself for being hurt by somebody else. Okay. Also, remember this, last but not least, the person that was betrayed, you have the option, you have the choice to not even deal with that person anymore. If you know that that person put you in a bad headspace or their energy is off, you can say, I'm out.
Today's show has been brought to you by Fierce Frames Eyewear, offering trendy yet affordable sunglasses for men and women. Check out their website at www.fierceframes.com. Again, that is www.fierceframes.com. Don't wait until summer. You can order now.
All right. Thank you, Fierce Frames. If you would like to sponsor a segment or one of the shows of Shop Talk with Mel, you can do so. Information is listed below of how to do it. You can also email me at shoptalkwithmel@yahoo.com. Like us on all socials at Shop Talk with Mel. Got my co-host, Nick the Voice, and Roogle the movie guy. Roogle, real quick, what's happening in the movie world?
Oh man, where's my paper? Anyway, what's going on is this. Remember I told you Coming to America was going to be released in December. Now it's being moved back to March 5th. So they're still working on that deal with Amazon's where it will be broadcast there. But also in the news is that Wonder Woman 1984 is staying hardcore to its Christmas release date. They are still on new theaters, but they're also going to release it on demand as well, for you to purchase at what cost, I don't know as of yet. Now, also what's happening is Regina King. You know who Regina King is, y'all, right?
Yes.
Okay, Regina King is like the queen of all blackness and all the television from her role when she was in The Watchmen. Now she is in her in her directorial debut,
Okay.
she is over a movie called One Night in Miami. One Night in Miami features it's based on true events, and the featured characters are Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and Muhammad Ali. So we're going to see this movie, and it's coming on Amazon. Unfortunately, we gotta wait, but it is January 15th where it will release. Also, Amazon is really trying to lock down all them black dollars, not only American black dollars, but them African black dollars that is in other places. For example, Stephen McQueen, are you familiar with him? He is the director of 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Stephen McQueen from the West Side.
No, we ain't talking about the McQueens from the West Side. He's talking about Steve McQueen that's over the lake over there, over the pond.
Oh, yonder.
As you put it, right? So anyway, him, Letitia Wright, and John Boyega, he has an anthology called Small Acts. And then this anthology is focused on the West Indian experience in Great Britain. So this anthology of 5 films will be focused on the time period of 1969 to 1982. Looking forward to seeing all of it. It did debut Friday, or Thursday, I should say. So it's out there if you want to watch it, but it's only 1 episode. We'll see the others over the time period or whatever. So it's happening. It may be a good watch over the Thanksgiving break to watch the episode that is released, and then the one that will be released on the 27th. Also, what's going on is that we got some birthdays, y'all. You know who Sherry Johnson is? Sherry Johnson is the best black friend of Punky Brewster, who was also named Sherry, right?
Cherry,
yeah, Cherry. I'm sorry, Cherry. Cherry, and the thing about it was, even when she was in the role, what they said was like, oh, that's a good name. We'll just keep that, right? They gave her the same name in the show that it's a real name, verbatim, syllable, verb, vowel, verb, everything is in there, right? And then she was also the best friend of Laura Winslow. Laura Winslow's best friend was the show, y'all. Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Okay. And then she was also Monique's best friend on what's the show, y'all? The Parkers, right? And then she will also be reprising her role as Punky Brewster's best friend on the Peacock's new version of Punky Brewster when that should premiere whenever it does.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's a birthday, y'all. It's a birthday.
All right. Happy birthday to Cherry.
Happy birthday.
All right, lovely people. That is my time. Let me give you today's footnote. Today's footnote is success is a suit of armor. So, and in saying that is to be successful, you have to put in the work, trust yourself, and know what you have to do to become successful. And usually people, they say that, they're drowning in their work, or you'll have people, they're focused on their work. They can't have a relationship. They can't do that. Listen, that's a safe place for some people. So that's why I chose today's footnote to be success being a suit of armor, protection. So be successful, everyone. I'm waiting on them greeting cards. I want you to be successful. I see it going somewhere. I definitely do.
It's gonna happen.
Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people.
Shop Talk.
Hey, we get there.
All right.
Yes.
Hey, the Shop Talk girls, they got a hot coat this week. Everybody got a perm. You get a perm. Everybody get a perm. All right.
I ain't had no perm and doggone.
I don't know. Everybody get pressed. Everybody.
Look, as Eddie